On June 24, 2026, the strongest earthquake to strike Venezuela in over 125 years shook the northern coast. The first tremor was massive, but it was only the beginning. Just 39 seconds later, the ground erupted again with an even larger surge of energy. Initial reports confirmed 164 dead and nearly 1,000 injured. But as rescue teams reached the rubble, the toll quickly climbed toward a much grimmer reality. This 39-second window meant the difference between a survivable emergency and a nationwide collapse. Most of Venezuela's population is concentrated here, between the high-altitude capital of Caracas and the coastal towns just over the mountain ridge. In Caracas, high-rise residential blocks like the Petunia residences were fatally vulnerable. 14 of its 20 floors gave way during the shaking. To the north, in the state of La Guaira, the destruction was even more concentrated, with hundreds of coastal buildings completely leveled. The Simón Bolívar International Airport, the country's main gateway, suffered severe structural damage to its terminal and control tower, forcing an immediate and indefinite closure. To understand how this happened, we have to look beneath the surface at the unique geological mechanics that made this event so lethal. This region is a broad boundary zone where the Caribbean plate grinds horizontally against the South American plate. Most of that stress is carried by the Boconó-San Sebastián fault system, which runs directly through Venezuela's most populated states. This was a shallow strike-slip rupture. Because the plates ground past each other only 10 to 20 kilometers below the surface, the kinetic energy hit the urban areas above with maximum force. By placing a dense urban corridor directly on top of this shallow fault, the released energy had a direct path into the foundations of thousands of buildings. While most quakes have a main shock and smaller aftershocks, this was a seismic doublet, two massive ruptures occurring side by side. A 7.2 magnitude foreshock broke the first segment, followed 39 seconds later by a more powerful 7.5 main shock on the adjacent segment. During those initial 39 seconds, the first shock cracked load-bearing supports and fractured building cores across the region. When the larger 7.5 main shock hit just moments later, those already compromised structures failed completely, trapping residents who had yet to evacuate. The catastrophic death toll resulted from this mechanical succession, a massive second shock hitting infrastructure that was already physically failing. Facing a national crisis, Interim President Delcy Rodriguez declared a state of emergency across the country. To prevent fires from gas leaks in collapsed buildings, the government ordered the immediate shutdown of the municipal gas supply in Caracas. Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello also militarized La Guaira, restricting all civilian access to ensure that only emergency vehicles could reach the hardest-hit areas. Despite these measures, the scale of the doublet disaster quickly overwhelmed local resources, forcing the government to appeal for international help. Specialized search and rescue teams from the U.S., Mexico, and Spain arrived shortly after, bringing dogs and heavy equipment to the rescue sites. These crews joined thousands of local volunteers who were already digging through the ruins with their bare hands in search of neighbors and relatives. Humanitarian organizations are now focused on the displaced and injured, providing medical care to a population that remains in a state of shock. While the international response is swift, the work is far from over. For families waiting by the rubble, the true recovery is just beginning.